have a good, carry option into Impact. Since this is fearless best of 3, if you're investing bans into Mbessa and Jace now, they're not going to be like permanently banned for the rest of the series too, and so you're still going to have to worry about a lot of these Thanatos champions. Renekton was definitely a very big one for him as well.
And when you think about the other champions that Impact has been playing recently, Rumble is still up and available. That's something that he's very comfortable on. He's been playing the Renekton, and then he's been playing the Galio. So those are the 3 picks that are still available that he's been spamming. He really has kind of condensed his champion pool back to some of these older picks that he was so confident on. Obviously, there are quite a lot of top lane bans, but I do still think he could look towards Rumble as a strong option.
All right, Yeon's just having fun with a couple of the hovers, and it looks like you're going to be right, Isaac. The Rumble locked in for TL.
And I mean, the thing is, it just makes so much sense. It's his best carry pick, in my opinion. It's still open in Phase 2, which is pretty rare. And the big kind of answer to it is something that isn't really Thanatos' style, which is Galio, right? That's what most people do pick towards it. We also saw Bwipo bring out the Yorick counter pick, which I think, is quite strong. I don't know if Thanatos has really prepared that or not. And that was against Fudge. Fudge did end up still getting the better of him in that matchup, but we saw the strength of it. It's looking like it will be the standard one, which is Galio. So I still think TL is probably going to be pretty happy with this overall. And not that Thanatos can't play this or anything, but it does bring some setup, with the taunt, to be able to actually set up things like the seismic shove, as well as try to hold people in place for the MF ultimate. If you pair that with a hard engage champ, yeah, perfect. Alistar goes in, Galio ult comes over the top, taunt comes in, you have the bullet time and everything, all that damage flying in and over. I feel like it really rounds out the comp quite well. And there's the Poppy I was talking about earlier, but potentially on the other side. It'll be interesting to see if Core wants to go for something a little bit more aggressive like Poppy, or if he is going to play one of those pairings like Karma.
Yeah, I think it was actually a nice couple of last picks there to round out this Cloud9 because also the split push plan we were talking about, when mid game you rotate Misfortune into mid lane. Now not only do you have the Taliyah, you also have Galio ultimate, so tons of cross-map play on the Cloud9 side. Of course, Umti does have that Pantheon.
Yep.
We didn't actually bet anything on it.
Yeah,
but
you won the bet. The bet for nothing. That's all you.
Congratulations.
He does have, some mobility to answer as well, with the Pantheon ult, of course. And he had a really good Pantheon jungle game earlier in the split. So, I mean, already I feel like the draft is nice and shaping up for some a pretty hyped series.
Yeah, I mean, both drafts I think are really strong. Both teams, got a lot of comfort here in Game 1. If there is a game you're expecting to be able to kind of get your champs in Fearless, it's going to be Game 1.
Right.
But I think it's going to be really exciting. And while we do see Cloud9 having a lot of ways to attack side lanes, they don't really have a champion that just wants to sit in side lane and take towers though, right? Because you have Taliyah, Galio as your solo laners. They don't really have someone who wants to be that kind of split push style situation. Whereas TL I do think does, because they have the Azir, which is a great side laner. APA loves playing through side. So him plus that Pantheon could potentially cause some problems for C9, who's really going to want to spend more time grouped up.
Yeah, and I'm really interested to see how the junglers will affect the game early. We know that Naafiri has been an absolute terror, multiple nerfs in a row to try to rein the dog in after she became so powerful. And Pantheon can just take over a game if he gets ahead as well. So focusing early on, getting these junglers ahead, I think it's going to be huge for both squads.
I mean, last time I remember Umti playing the Pantheon, he went Conquer and he took Biscuits and he basically just invaded and fought to the death with Biscuits and got really aggressive.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Rift. The game itself has moved on to Season 2 for the year. It's Spirit Blossoms in the air, and Team Liquid and Cloud9 will be the first ones to turn those blossoms from pink to red here this week, and I hope it is a bloodbath in this first one. You talked about comfort picks, Isaac. That just tells me I should be seeing confidence. I should be seeing people go for plays and try to really show that they're the squad that deserves the 3-0 finishing groups.
All right, well, already we got a little shallow ward here up by Raptors from Team Liquid, so getting some information for Umti to start with. Meanwhile,
all 5 rocks, nice.
I mean, that's a good chunk of health, too. There's no time to recall, so good early lead.
Dude, Impact's hair is so up. It looks like mine. Or it's just long. I can't tell. It's either long or it's just super messy. It's long. It looks good when he's not wearing the headset. I don't know why he pushes it back. So the headset lifts up his hair?
Discussing the style.
One of the best teams in North America talk about before the game to really get locked in. Turns out Impact's hair.
Hairstyle. Hey, it's important. Look good, feel good, play good. You know what I mean?
Yeah, there you go.
All right, so just taking a look at how everything's starting off here with the head-to-head in the lanes. CoreJJ never one to shy away from an early scrap to just try to start working on those health bars, on those potion reserves. You can see Zven already drinking his potion as Yeon just continues trying to get this wave moving forward. CoreJJ using the brushes to try to keep Zven and Vulcan back enough as...
Did we want to do this?
Nothing super crazy.
Yeah, we don't expect there to be too much early action. Bottom lane's probably just going to push in for Team Liquid and be some farming. And junglers are pathing up to this Galio into Rumble lane, this counter pick lane that people have really been liking. And the Galio getting the early push there. Thanatos doing his job. And we'll see once they finish their first clears and end up on that top side. Doesn't seem like there's been any heavy trading in exchange up there.
Right.
And it's just the farm kind of trading hands.
Back and forth, but mid lane, it is Loki with a decided HP advantage over APA. Also crashing that wave into the turret means if we do have a fight, this is going to be an advantage for C9.
Yeah, and this is the seeding that we're talking about here. It's actually really important, clinching those top 2 seeds, C9, TL, whoever wins here will finish 3-0, top the group. These 2 teams will be guaranteed upper bracket in playoffs. They will then play cross group next week to determine where they're going to finish as far as the seedings. And the teams that finish 3rd and 4th, not only do they not have playoffs guaranteed, they also, even if they qualify for playoffs, if they win that cross, bracket match, they only go to the lower bracket. So these group stage matchups are really, really important.
APA just barely stepping out of the range of the seismic shove there to make sure he does not end up in a very dire situation, as Loki will be the first one to teleport back to his lane after taking the early control over mid. He'll go back for the early buy, return now, and continue putting the pressure onto APA, who does get hit by that seismic shove, and APA now forced to take his own recall.
Yeah, as long as you don't die, though, it's all good. He's got his teleport ready to use, so... you got a little close, get a little roar from the crowd, get him into it, and still get back to base with your purchase. Although Loki will definitely be a bit happier. In addition to the health leads, he's constantly has the push here with the Taliyah. Got his early tier back to start stacking it very early. And Blaber himself on Naafiri, since he did the farm heavy start, which is you start your small camps, start your raptors so that they'll respawn at 4 minutes. Your second clear is very, very quick to follow. And so this Naafiri is just on power farm right now. He is going to finish off his second Krugs in addition to his second Raptors before going for his recall. And Naafiri will come back fairly scary as Umti went for the earlier one and just got a couple of ruby crystals.
I like watching TL's duo trade. CoreJJ gets the slam into the wall on Vulcan. Yeon follows up with just enough damage for CoreJJ to walk away before the Pulverize comes in for the counterattack. And Team Liquid's duo has been earning themselves extra control over bot lane with those types of trades as Loki finds another shove there onto APA, follows it up with a nice usage of the Q to land most of those rocks. And Loki has a one-wave advantage in farm over APA here in mid, and this is just a pure 1v1 advantage. Nobody else getting involved in this matchup yet.
Yeah, and he has been building a bit of an advantage even just through this sustain, right? Like he has 3 potions sitting in inventory, and 2 of the biscuits, plus that health potion. He will have to go back to base here as he is out of mana, but we'll see how quickly he can back. Because this is not a cannon wave, so he's likely to actually lose the whole wave if he bases right here. So at the end of the day, we're going to see that advantage closed a fair bit.
Okay. First equalizer of the game for Impact there. Also used for wave clear purposes, just to delete that, make it so he can recall on a good timer. And you can see Thanatos recognizing that, going to go ahead, take his own recall, and then both top laners resetting, walking their way back to lane as they know that the wave is not going to crash into either turret before they get there.
Yeah, Loki took that recall and invested in tier 2 boots so he could zoom right back.
Plus the passive move speed.
Surfing on the rock walls so he could get there immediately. And investing in the Lucidity boots as well here for the extra cooldown reduction. Let's see about this grouping up on the top side of the map, though. Blaber will get another Crabber for himself, but it will be in exchange for Umti starting Drake. And this is our big change, of course.
Yeah.
We do not have 6-minute grubs any longer. Gonna have to wait longer for those, so no trade there as far as the objective goes. Even though Mountain takes a long time to take, Team Liquid will get the first objective.
Yeah, they're confident to do so because C9, despite the fact that there's no Grubs here at 6 minutes, still send their bottom lane to the top side just after 6 minutes on the clock. Meanwhile, Team Liquid deciding to keep Yeon down here in the bottom lane. CoreJJ now, after taking a recall, going to move top, and he'll be laning up here with Impact. But yes, okay, you mentioned it, feels like a minute ago already. Umti's finally done killing this Earth Drake. It takes so long to kill the damn thing, but he finally gets the work done. That's first neutral objective over to TL, and it's cleared with plenty of time. Still over 45 seconds until the Void Grubs spawn, as Impact and CoreJJ now in a fair fight against Vulcan and Zven. They want to make sure that Impact is not in a really rough spot before this Void Grub spawn occurs.
It's actually pretty critical, though, because he used his Equalizer to get a quick base previously and did not use his teleport. So even if he gets chunked out now, he could trade his health, get Zven chunked a bit, and then just TP back for those Grubs and have that HP advantage. He is actually going to base right now, so we'll see if he has much of a buy. A little preemptive, but he is just going to get boots, and looks like he's going to be heading bot, and they're going to now match the swap. Yeon will be the one heading out towards top lane, and that is how they're going to decide to play it. And since Thanatos has not used his TP, Impact cannot TP down to bot lane. He's just got to run all the way down, otherwise they would have to be able to forfeit Grubs.
Both top laners do have the ability to join the Grub fight if they need to, and you can see both junglers pathing towards that part of the map right now. Both of them on a collision course with that top side river objective pit, as the Void Grubs are now alive. Both junglers stopping off to grab their camps along the way, keep that farming on a maximized efficiency, as Blaber now also thinking maybe about top lane if they can find something. Yeon's already used the Essence Shift, getting right back towards CoreJJ and the safety of being further away from that river where Blaber is lurking. But seeing there's no opportunity, Blaber's going to go ahead, throw the first couple of darkened daggers towards the Grubs and start the objective.
And look at the bottom laners. The Galio and the Rumble were running up the river here. So Thanatos on the Galio is going to get into Galio ult range just to threaten it. And he's going to pause. As you see on the minimap right now, unless they actually need him there, he's going to fully come up, make sure that they can get all of them, and then try and get back to the bottom lane.
C9 with all 3 Grubs secured. Team Liquid hanging around the area trying to see if there's any kind of an angle, but they can assess the situation until the sun goes down. It doesn't matter. C9 already got what they came for.
And you can tell Impact made the call pretty early on. He was like, I'm not going to keep following this Galio. I'll push bottom lane. Careful for the ultimate. Don't get too close.
We have actually had, I normally comment that, oh, the early game's been pretty quiet, but we haven't even seen anybody go for any kills yet. Sometimes you get a quiet early game because there's like an attempt at a gank and it's avoided. Maybe you get a flash or something. There's been nothing, nowhere from anyone in these first 9.5 minutes.
Did.
I don't know. You just play in the lane, man. You just play in the lane.
Someone who has been going for a lot of kills these last couple weeks, though, is Impact. In weeks 4 and 5 of Split 2, he has been really looking a lot stronger here. 16, 4, and 38 is kind of crazy. He's really been involved in a lot of the plays, and clearly in this game, staying bot, trying to play for his own lead, and we'll see if he can actually convert that on this Rumble that he has been so successful throughout his career on.
Well, maybe he'll be the first to strike. Maybe. Because right now, everybody just seems really content playing the farm game. We have these 2 junglers that both have such high kill power, but yet nobody's wanting to call the plays. Everybody's just saying, all right, play it slow. Don't do anything super crazy. Thanatos getting another wave pushed up down here. Has the Hollow Radiance completed. Very, very effective for getting the waves pushed out thanks to the Explodey passive.
Yeah, and Eclipse is so cheap and such a big power spike for Naafiri. If you look at Umti's inventory at the moment, he definitely does not want to fight. He hasn't gotten his recall back off on the Pantheon yet, and so Blaber is in the position on his first item power spike here with the Naafiri to try and go look for something after he finishes up with his wolves. Doesn't look like Vulcan and Loki are going to do too much versus CoreJJ, though.
Right, Core still with control over this bottom side river. Next Drake spawns in 1 minute, pretty heavily desynced still from the objectives on the other side of the map. Again, the change of the Spirit Blossom Season 2 stuff here on the Rift makes it so generally there's only going to be one of those objectives up around the same time for teams to fight for, less handshaking of the objectives. CoreJJ, though, going to be in some trouble. The Weaver's Wall has already come out, Steadfast Presence, and a flash over both walls gets CoreJJ away.
Yeah, nicely done there by Core, just getting out to safety, but it is going to be the flash down. It was the ultimate from Blaber and Loki being used, though, so maybe an opportunity here for TL to try to force their issue. at this next dragon. Sundered Sky is now done for Umti as well, so he took that time. He's been farming. He has his 1-item completion. And I think TL are going to be ready to go.
Yeah, they are. They're going in on Zven, who already tried to flash away. But with the Grand Starfall and the Equalizer together, surely they have enough damage. No, Vulcan there to save the day in time as Loki and Blaber have arrived. And Umti and Impact have to find their exit. Umti now in danger with a flashback out. A seismic shove into a first blood for Cloud9.
The team punish. Avengers arrive for Cloud9. They get first blood. They are going to lose a little bit as far as the mid lane push with Yeon being able to get this cannon wave towards the tower. But what a successful counter there. Zven, as you said, flashed, and then Vulcan comes in with the bodyguard trying to make sure his AD does not go down, and it's enough. He finishes his Bloodthirster off that. He got his magical boots as well, and so you can immediately, as soon as you get your Bloodthirster done, put that Misfortune in mid lane and get that plan of the Taliyah and Galio to play the two side lanes there in action.
Honestly, I thought they were going to have him. Like,
yeah.
The Pantheon stun followed the flash, then they get the Equalizer over the top, but they just didn't have the damage. Impact didn't fully commit to it, didn't want to flash in and go for it, but we have a fight back to live.
Back on live, Vulcan's in danger. He doesn't have the Unbreakable Will because he had to use it in the bottom lane, protecting Zven. So Team Liquid made a down payment in the bot lane fight, and they cash in mid.
Yeah, each one gets a kill, but TL get the objective afterwards with the better timing here. Oh,
CoreJJ in danger. Blaber doing a great job immuning the keeper's verdict. Core almost gets away, but close isn't good enough. And now the objective that it looked like Team Liquid might have secured ends up going into the hands of Blaber and Cloud9.
All right, he's able to punish the Poppy this time around. Nice W there from Blaber. Able to dodge out on the ultimate, and they find their kill. Right back to it.
Core with some kind of cocky movement there, like going in, like they had the dragon. They could have just been happy with that, but he tries to go in and get some vision, try to play for a little bit more at the same time. His team is not there with him. He ends up losing his ult, dying, and costing them the dragon. So that is a pretty costly death, and a nice play from Blaber.
Yeah, he saved Vulcan from some dragon criticism. First support goes down, you're like, all right, we got dragon. Oh, never mind, our support goes down too.
All that matters is whoever died last and lost the most. And this time, it was CoreJJ. Let's take another look at how the whole thing started.
So Core was on a ward, and Zven and Vulcan go in here to try and look for the fight. But then, once Umti and Yeon arrive, they realize they are outnumbered. Too many stuns. Cannot get away. That's just the first part of the story, though.
Yeah, exactly. And this is Core going in, trying to clear out some vision. His team was on the dragon, but Yeon is getting pushed in mid. They see that Galio is coming up from bot, and this is just well played there by Blaber, able to immune the knockaway there on the ulti, goes in, kills him, takes the dragon.
Also, last time when Blaber tried to make the play onto CoreJJ saw him coming, and he was like, oh, I just put my W up. No problem, block it. But this one, because Core was on the ward, but Blaber was over the wall, he's able to get him, surprise him before CoreJJ could react this time, and could not get away. So we split the dragons, and Cloud9 come away with their 1,000 gold lead.
All right, we have the next objective spawning right now. 15 minutes in, Herald is on the map, and as soon as Shelly rears her head, Blaber is already up here in the topside river, but Team Liquid's doing the same. Umti's been hanging out in the pixel brush up here. If Loki steps too far forward, there could be an angle for APA to try to go for a shuffle into Umti. Maybe if you pick Loki, you get a free Herald. It's not going to happen because Loki making sure that he's staying safe, just maintaining position up here in this top side. Now the Weaver's wall rides out. Umti could be the target, but he's already too far away. C9, you could see what they wanted to go for there, but just didn't have everybody in the right spot.
There was a tiny crack between the wall and the other wall, and he was able to slip through it. For now, let's see about the re-engage, though, because Yeon's on the bottom side.
Yeah, Yeon wants to try to poke these guys a little bit with the Mystic Shot. Zven now ready to join back up with Loki. CoreJJ channeling the Keeper's verdict, but it's a big miss. Now Vulcan with the counterattack here, going after Umti. Bullet time over the top means that TL can't immediately re-engage, but now Vulcan is isolated. Unbreakable Will keeping him alive as Blaber has already secured the Rift Herald for the side of C9. Vulcan still only at 100 HP, and Yeon takes him down. Umti's made his way into the fight, but now a grand entrance should seal his fate. Beautifully done as Cloud9 claims the feat of warfare. APA wants to flash in to secure the kill on Zven, and he finds it. But now it's Blaber and Thanatos looking to kill the Emperor of Shurima, and they've got their man. Yeon, Impact, and Core all trying to get away. There are black and white screens on both sides, and C9 takes the Herald.
These fights are an absolute brawl at the top of the group here. Team Liquid versus Cloud9. Again, Cloud9 though, they focus on the objective here to get the Rift Herald, and Vulcan does some fancy moves.
Watch Core here though, flashing in, interrupts the dash from Blaber as he was trying to get back in onto Umti. They're able to focus down Vulcan, and from here you're thinking they might be able to actually make it happen because Yeon has chunked out Loki, Vulcan's in the pit, Yeon goes in and takes him out, but I just think they're a little bit desynced on the Pantheon ultimate. The Pantheon ultimate goes in, but it's so far, and Yeon had just used a shift, they can't really follow up on it.
And I just want to say props to Loki for perfectly timing his seismic shove on the Pantheon arrival. You see where the Spirit lands, and then he times it very well to get that shove back. And like you're saying, they get the burst down there onto Umti. So, okay, round 3 here as they look for it again.
We had a pretty uneventful first 12 minutes, but now that was it. Yeah, I'm kind of okay with this. We're getting into some pretty good League of Legends now. C9 also critically claiming 2 different feats in that last fight. The Rift Herald was their 3rd neutral objective after getting the Grubs and the single dragon. They were first to 3 kills. That means they've got the powered up boots. Not the cheap boots, just the boots from last year. I remember our conversation about this last week. Impact is not having a good time though up here as Thanatos and Blaber just immediately dogpile him, and Blaber's got kill number 3.
And I was just about to say, Flowers, the biggest thing to me is that it's 2-item Naafiri.
Yep,
I have played enough games with fed Naafiris to know you
on your side or their side?
Yes.
Yes. Thank you, Isaac. I know you don't want to go near that 2-item Naafiri. The Sojin is done. The damage just is crazy with that thing. Yep. Once you get those stacks, Naafiri can stack it up really quickly, and just you tear through them with the ability damage. Blaber here in a position to really push Cloud9's lead ahead, and he does activate the Rift Herald.
Okay, Herald summoned up. Blaber takes a little bit of damage from Team Liquid, but honestly nothing huge. 2,000 gold lead already for C9. If they can force down this turret, it would be even more. Looks like they'll only get the charge, not quite enough to take down the thing all the way. Gets it down to about 1/5 HP, but it does buy C9 time to control the bottom side river, going after the Drake. Thanatos channeling the taunt, but he finds no target close enough to the wall to land it. C9 onto the Drake now as the Weaver's Wall flies out. Loki looking to create some space while the rest of C9 continues working on the Dragon, but the DPS is low. The health bar is not dropping quick enough. Umti has made his way forward, but he's about to lose his shield. Now the focus onto the Team Liquid jungler who has to flash away, and the Infernal Drake is already secured by Cloud9. APA gets over the wall, but Blaber hunts him down with the Dark and Daggers. Impact doesn't have the threat on the back to actually take down the C9 carries, and now C9 is on the hunt. CoreJJ falls to Blaber, a double kill for the Naafiri. A 3-0 plus objective fight for C9.
Blaber is a fed Naafiri, but Loki keeps getting crazy seismic shoves on Team Liquid members. That one was right into a Misfortune ultimate. The timing between Loki and Zven there with the seismic shove into the Misfortune ult was just clean.
Yeah, I mean, hit the 2-man seismic shove, and critically, TL tried to take that fight with no equalizer on Impact. He used the equalizer top lane when he died, so he didn't have it for this entire fight. And then Vulcan finds a really good Q knockup and knocks Umti to the team. He has to flash out. There's the 2-man seismic shove that Kobe was talking about. And imagine if Impact had equalizer in this situation where there's all these low health bars here. That's a double kill for sure with equalizer up. But instead, they try to fight it without it. Cloud9 outplay. Blaber is super fed. Loki's making good plays. And C9 starting to run away with it.
Seems like they're bouncing back from last week very quickly here on stage. I mean, Naafiri is just so good at picking up these straggler kills too. He gets the first kill, he got the reset on the ultimate, go chase down the other one. And now with this large gold lead and the dragon lead, they can look at Yeon.
Okay, Yeon's the target for Blaber with Zven's follow-up damage. There's no way for the Ezreal to get away from that one. Blaber is 8 out of 9 kill participation, completely taking over the game on this Naafiri.
He ulted, and he's immediately spamming the E to jump where Yeon is going to jump. He's like, I know where you're going, and you're going back to the fountain, buddy.
Yeah, it's getting tough. Objective bounties spawning now at this point, and you look at the top lane tier 1 as well as an easy pick. Vulcan's just going to knock you away. That's not going to work.
Yeah, Umti's ulti there just completely fizzles out. Thanatos now reinforcing with a grand entrance as C9 thinks about chasing further, but APA's got the Sun Disc to try to delay them. Again, I want to go back to how slowly this game started, because in less than 10 minutes from first blood, we now have C9 with a 6,000 gold lead, 2-manning the Otacon with everybody on Team Liquid alive because they just don't have to respect them. C9 is so far ahead in this game. The True Shot Barrage isn't going to do anything. The Thornbound Otacon claimed by a Cloud9 squad that now has such a commanding lead. Team Liquid's going to have to find a miracle to get back into this one.
And you start to look at the experience disadvantages. You know, after you pick up that Thornbound Otacon, it starts to really become problematic. Top lane's like 2 levels ahead, support's 2 levels ahead. You know, even jungle is nearly 2 levels ahead. He's about to hit 14. So it is definitely going to be really hard, because it's not just the gold lead, it's the additional adaptive force that they're getting, plus the proc on takedown, plus the experience advantage. Cloud9 are super strong, and it feels like one of the only ways TL could get something done at this point is maybe finding some sort of a play through sideline, you know, get a big pick, try to kill someone. But C9's playing it really safe, and it feels like either Thanatos is the one moving up, where he's just so tanky he's hard to pick off, or when Loki's in a side lane, Blaber's behind him.
And like we said in Champ Select, they're the ones with the extra, you know, global or semi-global here. Galio ults, Taliyah walls. They have Strut. I mean, Strut is even kind of almost up on that tier list where it allows Zven to walk.
Global. He's Mr. Worldwide. He's walking around everywhere.
You can walk there really fast.
Yep.
But
Name a place on the map. He can walk there. Global.
Exactly. Cloud9, it looks like they are back. Let's see about CoreJJ, though. Running around with that few health bars is definitely dangerous, even if you are a Poppy. Level 8 on the Rift at the moment.
Tough, man.
Yeah, with no item done as well at 23 minutes. Oof. So
pretty much the only way he lives is if you Keeper's Verdict everybody away from you, and now no one's close enough range to deal the damage anymore.
I wonder how much gold he spent on things this game.
I thought you were going to say, I wonder how much gold he's worth at the moment.
Well, I mean, his score isn't.
He only died twice, yeah. He only died twice.
Yeah, it's all the deaths on Team Liquid are actually very evenly split. It's not like Cloud9 has been focusing down one person in particular the entire time. It's just, yeah. But interestingly enough, on the other side, Team Liquid has only found kills on the C9 bottom laners. Speaking of bottom laners, it's Yeon in trouble as Loki arrives to help Blaber. Yeon will escape, but it costs his barrier. CoreJJ also lives, but it costs the flash. Summoner spells acquired there for C9. It only costs them Loki and Blaber's ultimates, and they've still got control over the enemy jungle. Dragon about to spawn in 15 seconds, though, so the lack of Taliyah and Naafiri ult, it might be something that Team Liquid's happy about, but I'm sorry, I think they're still pretty sad. It's still a 7,000 gold difference.
Yeah. I'm willing to offer you a double or nothing on our previous bet that was for nothing.
I was going to say, isn't double of nothing also nothing? So it's a nothing or nothing?
I'm going to bet you that TL are not going to fight this dragon.
Okay, I think you're right. I'm actually, I don't know if there is a nothing bet there, because I don't think that anybody's walking close to this pit as C9 acquires soul point status now. 6,500 gold lead. Otacon already in the pocket, feeling really, really good about the state of the game. They've got 21 blossoms compared to only the 11 on the Team Liquid side. Honestly, for TL, it just has to be a miracle fight. Some kind of Pantheon ulti right on top of the carries, into a multi-Azir shuffle, into a multi-equalizer over the top, and you still might not win.
Yeah, I mean, you really have to look at, you know, where TL does have some strength, and it's still in the carries, right? You know, you look at mid, you look at bot, the gold disadvantages aren't that big, so maybe if you have a perfect fight from there, you know, and Thanatos is in a side lane answering impact, you know, something like that, that could really kind of help you in a 4v4 if you can avoid where that big gold advantage is, because almost the entirety of the advantage for C9 is in the top side, right? It's Blaber and Thanatos. So if you can find fights where they're not involved, Yeon and APA are still pretty strong. Like, there are possibilities for TL. Of course, they are getting fewer and further between, as it is now also soul point for Cloud9. But you're going to have to try to just find that one window and go for it.
Umti, found by the taunt. Thanatos with the reverse Justice Punch, making sure that he does as much damage to the Team Liquid jungler as he can. And this is Tank Galio just completely slamming Umti's Pantheon. Bullet time from Zven guarantees it. Thanatos just slowly walked at him until he died.
The Spartan just got ran down by the giant chicken dude. Like, that's
hey,
not even
you better
close.
respect the chicken man.
No, nobody expects the chicken suit. All right, well, hot dog on the Baron here. Let's see, can TL pull out the miracle now?
All right, I don't think so,
Deal
because
with
Team
an
Liquid
Ezreal
they've already lost their jungler. He died to the chicken suit, and that means
was kind of close.
The chicken suit set it up, the hot dog knocked it down. It's Baron for Cloud9 and a 9,000 gold lead.
Yeah, Cloud9 are looking unstoppable at this point. I mean, Umti just had nothing to say about Thanatos walking at him. Umti's still on one item. You know, Thanatos completely unfazed by anything he can do to him at this point. He is level 16 on the Galio, complete brick wall in the front line. He hasn't even based in a while, so I'm guessing he probably has the full Zonias. You know, could just use that Seekers in one fight, immediately base, grab the Zonias, have it back-to-back fights. But C9 are pushing up on this top side. Core has a pretty good flank position, but I just don't know that it really is going to matter.
We call that a food delivery flank at this point of a gold lead, because if he goes in, he is going back to the spawn platform the hard way, tries to channel the Keeper's verdict, at least knocks one of them out. But now, Vulcan with the Unbreakable Will is not an acceptable target. Loki just knocks Core right back off of him as Vulcan continues peeling, and APA is about to be the first to die. Core also dropping dead as Team Liquid's attempt is going to end in disaster. Yeon now has to try to escape from Blaber, who flashes forward to secure the kill. Impact wants to get away, and Loki is happy to send him home. Team Liquid is aced 5-0 in what is surely the final fight here, you would have to think.
I mean, Cloud9 are not messing around this week. They're going to destroy quite a lot of turrets. The death timers are still pretty shallow, but the damage is definitely there.
Oh, yeah. I mean, Core got a flank, but that was a hummingbird flanking a grizzly bear. It was not looking like he had much of an opportunity to get anything done there. C9 crush him, 14K. They know they couldn't end, so they just immediately TP bot. They get the tier 2 top, they get the tier 2 bot. They have taken all the outer towers and even one of those inhibitor towers up on top side. 15,000 gold lead is crazy.
Okay, let's take a look at the murder here in the top lane.
The crime scene.
Who done it?
Well, Poppy comes in, level 9, ejects Zven, who is the big damage dealer, but is also
Got
like
that
the
global strut, though.
yeah, and he's also the squishiest target. So
He's
then
already back.
They were left looking at Vulcan, and Vulcan is so tanky. Galio ult comes in that none of them go down, and they at least I mean, you could say they popped Loki's Seraphs.
That's a dub.
That's the
Is
win.
that close, guys?
Yeah, almost at him.
Well, I guess at least the silver lining is I was wrong and the game's not over. I was underestimating the length of the death timers.
Don't speak too soon.
Yeah, there we go. I got caught unawares by that one a little bit, as now the Weaver's Wall flies out. It zones Team Liquid away from being able to adequately protect the tier 3 turret. So the inhibitor line will now be broken on the very end of the Baron buff for C9, but it's 20 seconds until the Dragon Soul spawns, and C9 has total control over Summoner's Rift.
So I said Thanatos might just be able to finish with Zonias. Instead, he bought an entire death cap. So he's feeling confident, I think, about their chances in this game.
It's not Tank Galio anymore. It's Tank Galio with a hat. And I don't think Umti wants to go anywhere on the same screen as this guy. There's your Infernal Dragon. There he goes. Infernal Soul locked in for C9.
My biggest takeaway from this one is how quickly Cloud9 did snowball once they started getting their leads. Once they got some money onto Blaber, and Blaber did a really good job of always going for these plays right after finishing an item. You saw his play right after Eclipse, then right after his Sojourn's done, boom, goes topside, gets that kill, and Cloud9 have been doing a very, very good job, not letting anything go to waste, I feel like. Whereas last week, it was a little bit worrisome, both how close the game was, but also, some of the plays that were going down. So they are for sure locked in this week. Team Liquid are going to have to do a lot to come back in the series. And a whole bunch if they really wanted to come back in this game. It's almost 15K gold lead and Dragon Soul, so good luck at the final defense.
Well, here it comes. The Weaver's Wall has arrived. CoreJJ with a flash over it just to keep himself alive, but he still loses half HP. C9 with their Infernal Soul just trying to force their way into the base now. They do have 2 of these inhibitors opened up and vulnerable. They're going to go ahead and start putting the DPS in those already as Team Liquid scrambles to decide where they want to defend. Do they want to try to fight for the inhibs? Do they want to fight at the Nexus turret? Do they get a chance to fight at all as CoreJJ is already down and Umti's about to follow. It's bullet time, and Yeon's the third to die. C9 will win the game right there. This time, I am sure of it. C9 cleaning up that second inhibitor, going up top side to grab the wave. It's still 30 seconds on Core, Yeon, and Umti as Blaber's just trying to make sure that Impact doesn't approach from a different angle. He and APA, the last two standing on the Team Liquid side, as Vulcan immediately finds a headbutt. The shuffle knocks him back into the fountain, so APA at least gets one, but the Nexus turrets are already gone, and APA cannot stop him. C9 with a 19-4 scoreline. A seismic shove to try to make it even more, but it won't matter. C9 dominate game one.
Can't believe how many raw seismic shoves Loki hit this game. Like, just every single one. It felt like he was just getting pick after pick after pick.
Yeah, honestly, really impressive game from Cloud9. Came out dominant in game one. And we're going to have to see what TL can come up with for game two, because they are one of our teams that is not known for having, massive champion pools. They kind of stick to a couple champs. They play some of the least different stuff of any team in the league. So going into game two, we have to see what they can solve.
C9 definitely seem like they are bouncing back after their shaky series last week, and LTA North Twitch subs are also back. Join the community for exclusive content, including the League of Legends in-game emote, Tell Me Everything, for paid and gifted subs. Plus, get access to all of our exclusive LTA North Twitch emotes, like Gigaflowers, Azael Nodders, and what is yours? Yours is something.
Kobe
yeah,
Cott.
Oh yeah, Kobe Cott. We got all of them. All three of us are in there, and now we're going to toss it over the lounge to see what they've got to say about game one.